Yeah, I know what you're thinking. Bray, it looks like you haven't slept in like weeks. And to be honest with you, it's true. I haven't slept in weeks. There's a problem that keeps me up at night. And that problem is, how come the guitarists get to have all the fun? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Yes, I did take a shower. I feel better about myself. So let's go ahead and get on with this episode. So I know you've been scrolling through Instagram, and as a bass player, I know you follow a bunch of these worship bands, worship artists, even worship guitarists. I know I do. And you see big board after big board after big board after big board after big board, all these giant spaceship-looking boards. And I've thought to myself, well, okay, yes, I am a lover of small mini boards, especially for bass, but what if we want to have fun instead of sticking with the 4 pedals that we use like our worship leaders tell us to use? Let's go ahead and go all out. Let's use a few more pedals on a board. So in today's episode, I am building possibly the world's biggest, totally not an exaggeration, world's biggest bass pedal board. And if that sounds like something you're into, stick around, hit that subscribe button, like this video, and leave us a comment down there, right down there. If you want to check out any of these pedals, these boards, cables, whatever, I'm going to link all that down there in the description. I don't have any codes or have any special Amazon links, so feel free to click through and pick up whatever you want. So today's board of choice, yes, this is not huge. I'm not doing a flat board. I'm not using MIDI to control this board, but this is a little bigger than I'd say bass players are used to. This is the Pedal Train XD18. We got 18 inches wide, however many inches tall. And this is like a 3-tiered board. I don't know if you can see that right there, but we are going to have 3 rows of bass pedals and some guitar pedals. You know me, I like to add those in there. But this is the board we're going to be using. I'm going to go ahead and go down to the desk, and we are going to assemble this bad boy. And I'll just walk you through it as we go. So stick around, stay tuned. Let's go ahead and switch to the desk angle. What's up, guys? Welcome to the desk view. We have this camera right here. What's up? And then we have the overhead camera right here. What's up? So this is our board right here. This is the Pedal Train XD18, like I said, 18 inches wide, 3 rows tall. So we're going to have 3 rows of pedals. And I know what you're thinking, Bray, that is a lot of bass pedals. And you're not wrong, okay? That is a lot of bass pedals. But the idea I have for this board is a big board, yes, but a functional board. So this isn't going to be like a board thrown together with a ton of pedals that don't make sense, or a board that is unusable. This is going to be a board larger than normal, but usable. And let's go ahead and get into that. So there are a couple things that I think about when I am building a new board, and the first one is layout. So when looking at layout, I like to do a couple things. One, I'm going to get the pedal board in front of me, and I'm going to place the pedals on the board. No wires at all. Just place the pedals on the board in an order that I like. A tool that I like to use when doing this is a website called Pedal Playground. Here is an example of that. You can select certain pedals, certain boards, and kind of build this online before you actually build it in real life. Now, there are a couple downsides to this. One, all the pedals aren't in there yet. Like, they don't have the bass micro synth, but they have the regular micro synth, so you'll just have to use that as a placeholder. So there's a lot of placeholders, but they do have a feature where you can create a pedal using just the size of the case. So you can do that like I've done for the Oracle. And it's a really cool tool. A problem that I've run into with the Temple audio boards are the holes don't line up right. So I've put a board together, and then when I get the board in front of me and start putting pedals on, it doesn't fit exactly right. So just be wary of that and be aware of that. So layout, like I said, I have the board right in front of me. We are going to go ahead and start laying these pedals out. I used Pedal Playground, so I know where I kind of want these pedals, and if it doesn't work out, you can always move them in real life. I kind of did this before I started recording, and I did have to end up switching some things around, but that is okay. So let's go ahead and lay these pedals out. All right, so I got my iPad out here. I checked my Pedal Playground and a couple of pictures I took earlier when I was setting this up. This is the layout I want. No cables or anything like that, but I'm going to go ahead and walk you through the signal chain and kind of give you an overview of this board right now. So, signal chain, bass into number 1, the micro synth. I like to have the micro synth first, just because I need a strong, clean bass signal into that. So after the micro synth, I'm going to go down into my OC2. Kind of the same deal. I just want a nice, clean, strong bass signal into that. So those are first. After that, I'm going to go into my bass comp. This is the Diamond bass compressor. After that, we are going to go into the Mobius. So this is going to be all of my modulation sounds. I haven't used this a ton on bass yet, but I did give it like a little run through a couple weeks ago, and I really like the sounds coming out of it. So we're going to stick with the Mobius for our modulation effects, excuse me. Okay, after the Mobius, we're going to hit our drive section. That is going to be the 1981 Inventions LVL, the Earthquaker Devices Westwood, the Spaceman Effects Polaris, and this is brand new for native audio. This is the Fry Bread Fuzz. And I know what you're thinking, Bray, why is the fuzz down here? Why is that not first? So a cool thing about this circuit is he designed it to fit anywhere in your signal chain. So shout out to Mike, Dayton native, and from Native Audio. So that is the fuzz. And then after that, we are going to go into the HX Stomp. That is going to be my amps, my amp sims. What I am leaning towards, what I am thinking is, usually I have a couple effects on the Stomp, but I think what I'm going to do is, since I have all these effects available to me, I am going to do 3 different amp styles. So I'll have 3 different amps ready and available to me right here at the flip of a switch. And then after that, we have the TU3 by Boss. This is a great tuner. I love it. That is going to be in the effects loop of the HX Stomp. So that'll just be always on. And yeah. And then after that, we are going to go out into the Arkham Oracle preamp. This is like a Noble, the cheap, not cheap, but the cheap man's Noble. And it sounds really good, to be honest with you. I gave it a test run a couple weeks ago with the Mobius. I did a really stripped down rig. It was the bass comp, Mobius, and the Arkham, and I thought it sounded awesome, just those 3. So I'm excited to incorporate it into this bigger board and get some sounds out of it. All right, so when building a board, I have those steps, like I said. So 1 was layout, okay? So we got that figured out. Like I said, it's not nice and pretty, but we are going to adjust that as we go. Number 2 is going to be power, and for that, I am using the Fender Engine Room Level 12. So under this board, I have the Level 12. Honestly, I enjoy it. I think it's kind of underrated. I haven't seen it out there a ton, but it has 12 outputs, all 500 milliamps, and then it has a couple where you can switch from 12 and 18 volts. And then something that is really useful for me using this board, the level 12, is the Oracle uses an IEC like wall power. That's how this guy plugs in. The engine room is able to power the Oracle using a IEC out. So this whole board will be powered by one IEC cable, which is nice. That's the only downside that I have about the Oracle, which is solved now because now they have a Pedalboard friendly one that is powered off of 9-volt power supply, which is awesome. So check that out. Might need to switch to that in the future, but for now I have the big bad Oracle. That is how I am powering the board. The Fender engine room level 12. Check that stuff out. I think it's really great. All right, so 1, layout, 2, power, 3. I am going to be looking at cables, power cables, patch cables, all that kind of stuff. And for that, I'm going to be using these power cables. These are actually power cables from my True Tone one-spot power supplies. I absolutely love these cables. They are color-coded. Yellow's the shortest ones. Then they have white, blue, red, all that kind of stuff. So I am using these for power, and then I am going to be attempting to use these EBS flat cables, the gold versions, which are a little bit smaller, which is nice. But I have used these in the past on a ton of boards. I've also used the silver version, and I love these. These are awesome. Flat patch cables. They, with these tiny little heads on there, we are able to fit, just get a lot more space for the money. So I love those. Going to be attempting to use just those on this board. And then for my base cable and my IEC out, I have some custom Caulfield cables, which are very nice, but also a little expensive. But feel free to check those guys out. Any other cables will do just fine as well. So let's go ahead and wire this guy up and get some power. Alright, so I have all my power cables in, and I figured this was a good time to talk about a couple things. Number one, first of all, make sure that you are powering your pedals correctly. In the case of the Strymon, that's going to need more milliamps than, say, an overdrive and stuff like that. The HX Stomp is going to require even more than that. So when I'm using my True Tone one spot, I just need one output, and I can use the red and green adapters and power the Stomp. But with this Fender engine room, I am using this doubler. So this is from Logsden Audio, and this is a super cool cable. It has 2 connectors on one side, and then on the other side we have the normal, let's see, we have the normal barrel plug, and this is the size that fits the HX Stomp, the Line 6 step, because it is a different size. So if you own an HX Stomp or any Line 6 product, it would be, I think it's a good idea to have a couple of these on hand. I know I do. And then in the case of the Diamond Bass Comp, this uses a different power supply, and I'm going to be using this little red adapter from the True Tone stuff. This little guy reverses the polarity, and then this can be powered anywhere from 9 to 18 volts. So make sure you know how to power your pedals. Looks like we got almost everything good power wise. Now I'm going to move on to patch cables and make sure everything fits that way. Alright, so I have everything wired in. So I have all the patch cables done, I have all the power cables done. Now I need to attach the power cables to the power supply and then give it a proper test to make sure everything works. So I was not able to use all those gold EBS cables. I unfortunately just didn't have the right sizes, which is okay. I had some spare homemade cables with the SP500 ends and Mogami Gold cable, so I used a couple of those. And then I also did have to reroute just a little bit. I put the tuner is no longer in the effects loop of the HX Stomp, only because I could not get the cables to fit with the Mobius. The new signal chain is HX Stomp into the tuner, and then that goes into the Arkham Oracle preamp. All right, so let's go ahead and get everything powered up, make sure everything works right, and then we'll give it a little test. All right, so with the initial power on, here we are down here on the board. I see some blinking lights, which is a good sign. What I do is now I'm going to go ahead and check all these pedals. Light, lights. Yep, check. That one's good. This one's good. That one's good. And that one's good. Okay, right off the bat here, it looks like everything is powered up correctly. Hopefully everything is patched in correctly. All right, so before the sound test, I just kind of want to walk you through this idea, and I want your guys' opinion. Is this too wild of a board? Is this just fine or what? Just let me know. So basically, the whole idea of this is an all DI board, no amps whatsoever. You just grab this board, take it to your gig, and go straight front of house. So I'm going to kind of walk through the signal chain, kind of walk through how to use it, how I plan to use it. Like I said, signal chain is the Glory Guitars Cornerstone bass into the bass micro synth by Electro Harmonics. That goes into the OC2 by Boss. Then we have the Diamond bass comp. After that, we're going into the Mobius. And then we hit our drive section, the LVL, the EQD Westwood. We have the Polaris, the Native Audio Frybread Fuzz. Say that 5 times fast. Then we go into the HX Stomp, into the TU3, and then out of that into the Oracle preamp by Arkham. That is the signal chain. Now let's talk about how we are going to use this board. So the idea is the microsynth. That is a dirty octave fuzz. You guys know what that does. And if you don't, check out my favorite setting microsynth video. So we have dirty octave fuzz, that microsynth sound that everyone knows and loves. Then we have the OC2. This is going to be a clean octave that we can get kind of dirty. We can pair it with other things. We can pair it with drives, we can pair it with fuzz, or we can double up, do different octave sounds with the microsynth and the octave. We can get crazy with it, but the goal is microsynth, dirty octave, OC2, clean octave. Okay, next is the Diamond bass comp. This is always on pedal. This is very squishy compression. That is why this is on this kind of middle row out of the way. I'm not going to be hitting this too much. Next is going to be the Mobius. Like I said, this is all modulation sound. So big use for this is chorus. I love chorus on bass, but we also have flanger, rotary, vibe, phaser, filter, all this other cool stuff that we can check out with the Mobius. And the cool thing with this is we have banks, so we have a ton of banks that we can store stuff in. Super easy to use. This is my first kind of run with the big box Strymon stuff, and I thought that I wouldn't be able to use this because I'm not super tech savvy like that, but I actually love the UI on this. This is super cool, and I have a feeling that this is going to be a very used pedal. So like I said, Mobius, all the chorus, all of the modulation, that's going to be sick. Out of that, we hit the drive section. So this is a lot of dirt for bass, but this is how I'm kind of going to use that. So the LVL is going to be used mainly as a boost. It's going to be just pushing the amp just a little bit and giving us just a little bit more, just a little bit better, more good, whatever you want to say. Next is the Westwood. This is going to be my light gain drive. So for me, I think Morning Glory Blue side, stuff like that. Next is going to be the Polaris. This is going to be a medium gain type deal. And then you have the combination of these three. The LVL plus the Westwood, that's going to be a medium gain drive. The LVL plus the Polaris, that's going to be like a high gain drive kind of deal. And then we can do Westwood and Polaris, make that, and that'll sound cool and all that kind of stuff. And then to round it all out in the dirt section, we have that Fry Bread Fuzz. That is going to be just key for a lot of dirty, nasty, filthy bass sounds. It's going to be awesome. And like I said, they designed this so it can fit anywhere in the chain. So I just have it at the end of my drive section, which is awesome to do because it's really easy to remember. It goes light gain to most gain. So that's how I'm going to be using it, and that's how it's laid out. Yeah. So after that, we hit the Ajax Stomp. I don't have it set up like this right now, but my plan is to have 3 different amp sounds. I'm not necessarily going to use that all the time. I'm known to find something I like and use that exclusively, but with this setup, I feel like I am free to try different things. So I'm going to have an SVT style amp, a B15, and then I might just do an SVT style for my active bass, so I can flip between the two whenever I flip from the passive to the active bass. So that's my plan for the Stomp. And then all of that goes into the TU3. That tunes up the bass. That's honestly probably the most important part of this whole board. And then we leave that into the Arkham Oracle preamp. So this is just a super cool DI. It's kind of subtle. Has a lot to do with feel, that kind of stuff. Tube driven, like I said. And then that is a DI straight to front of house. And that is the big board. So I would just love to know what you guys think. Is this too much? Is this, unusable for you? I think it's going to be really fun, to be honest with you. And it's going to be super cool little church board. I think it's going to be great for me in the worship setting and stuff like that. But like I said, I would love to know your guys' opinion on this board down in the comments. Yeah, so let's do a little tiny sound test and then get on out of here. All right, so I have my bass. This is the Glory Guitars Cornerstone. Like I said, if you guys want a full video on this, let me know and I will do it. Like I said, this is just a short little sound test. If you guys want to hear more in-depth kind of sounds, I'm going to be doing another video just on sounds. I didn't want to throw it in this video just to make it super long. So just going to do a little test that, and I also don't have anything set up to how I would normally use it, so I don't want to give you guys the worst sounds ever, but we'll just go through a couple things and then, like I said, get on out of here. So here is the giant bass board. Wow, if you have made it this far, let me just say I appreciate the view. I appreciate you following along. And since you're here, go hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm talking about. Goal for this year is to hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and adding to the conversation. So if you guys want to hear this rig, stay tuned for the next video. We're going to do a full demo of some sounds. I know I walked you through kind of the signal chain and what things are going to sound like, but we are going to save the playthrough just for another video. So this video is not 3 hours long. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram. I do polls every now and then, do giveaways and all that stuff over there. So that is also linked in the description. But I think that about wraps us up. I have been Bray. This has been a giant bass pedal board, and you watch Bray Raleigh Bass. So I will see you guys on the next episode. Peace.